All right. I'm here. Kind of. What's going on with this? It's been a minute. I've been not well, and I've been busy and not well, but mostly not well. um, yeah, girl, I got sick. What's this doing? I really should have looked at myself. Hi, Stacey Ann. Thanks for coming through. I got your email by the way, and I'm taking that off. Anytime I wear anything, I feel like it's a lot. So I end up just swiping most of it off my face. Um, it's good to see y'all. It's so good to see y'all. I'm happy to be here with y'all again some more. Things have been happening and I'm excited to talk about what's been happening. I want to hear about what's been happening with you. What's been happening with you, girl? I'm excited about what we have to talk about today. Wafflecat. Hey, Angela. So sick and busy. I've been busy because the International Black Women Travel Jubilee, the first and premier conference for Black women travelers, is happening in 2 weeks. And so I have been busy as 2 weeks would demand me to be busy. Um, and still trying to get some stuff together. I had a speaker that's not going to be able to make it, and I'm really sad about that. So I got to find somebody else in that speaker's stead. So, hey, CDJ. Thank you, Stacey Ann. But I'm really excited. So there's two options to attend the conference, International Black Women Travel Jubilee. The first is for live workshops. And I'm naming it workshop specifically because I feel like we've had conversations, right? If you've been up in this space, like that's what we do, conversations. And so I want you to have some steps. I want you to have some outcomes. I want you to have some specific transformations. And so that's why I'm focusing on workshops. Uh, we have three speakers right now. One is Yumi from Flex and Fly. The other one is Tynesha from the Tiny Change Agency. And the third one is Cassandra from the Be Well Sis podcast. So I'm really excited about what they have to share. I'll be sharing all of their info very, very soon so you can get a feel for them and get a feel for their vibe. And of course, like the schedule and all that good stuff. And I have some goodies for y'all. I'm really excited about that. And then, other than the live workshops, there's also the option to get into some coaching. So it's a mastermind, a guided mastermind, a safe, and what do I say? It's like gentle accountability. It's going to be you being held accountable for the stuff you say you want and like tearing that apart a little bit to see like what's really good and giving you some action steps to take. Again, with the Wanda touch, Tynesha is actually going to be leading the mastermind from the Tiny Change Agency. So, and then I'm just going to be dipping in there. We'll also do some co-working. So some of the stuff that we've been doing, but I'm going to put some of the stuff we've been doing for free, not for free no more. So yes, the mastermind I'm extremely excited about because I think, again, it's the same idea. Instead of us having these conversations, instead of us getting together, you got to get your back up off the wall, Miss Ma'am. You got to put some skin in the game, and that involves you stepping into this space of creation. You just got to get creating because there's no better way. We could have all the conversations in the world. You can also make a lot of progress on your own. You can also find accountability partners on your own. Sometimes people just want something that's just for them, something that is more direct and upfront and you understand what it is. Because sometimes when you're dealing with people, it's just like, oh, well, what's going on with you? And then they talk about them for half an hour and then you got to go or whatever that looks like. So somebody who's making space for you is what it is. And it always will be that versus like them taking up space or them not knowing how to hold you accountable. Because, people be amateurs out here in these real life streets, be amateurs. Not that there's anything wrong with being amateur. I'm just saying that if you're trying to get to that next step, The Black Women Travel Mastermind is that next step for you. So super excited about that. Very, very busy with that. And so let's talk about what we came to talk about today, which is goal setting, which also ties into the mastermind type of stuff. So why aren't you doing the stuff you said you wanted to do? Hey, Janelle, why aren't you doing it? Why? Pop it into the comments for me. Why do you think you're not doing the stuff you said you wanted to do? Share your reasons why. How long is the mastermind? The mastermind is going to be 3 months. It's a 3-month long mastermind. So it's meeting twice a month. And in between the accountability, there will be co-working. So it's going to be every week for 3 months. So that's 12 weeks, right? I don't math. So, hey, Kathy, welcome. So I asked y'all to pop into the comments for me. Why do you think you're not reaching your goals? Share with me why you don't think you're reaching your goals. Or if you do think you're reaching your goals, how have you been able to reach your goals? Also share that. Y'all see my plant? She's doing pretty good. I kept her alive the whole time. I'm really excited about that. Lack of confidence, CDJ said. Lack of confidence. That's real. I have not been reaching my goals because I have a lack of confidence. I told my friend this last night. She said, because I have no inspiration and my day job is mentally draining. Let's also talk about that, how difficult it is to exist in a structure and try to build a whole other structure outside of that. A lot of times you're just trying to get to your bed, to your series that you're binging, to your wine. So it's really difficult sometimes to stay focused on the thing you want to build, to put energy towards the thing you want to build. Family obligations. And that's also real. And what does it look like to have something that you want to create and have your time and attention again split in a different way? So we have the job, we also have the family. So that's really good. Thank you all for sharing that. Miss Kathy said inconsistency. Very, very good. So let's break it down then, so that it is forever broke. It's going to require some selfishness. It's just like self-care requires selfishness. And the way that I look at the things that we create, that is a form of self-care, because it's like you are creatively congested if you don't get these things out. If you do not spend time making something that feels good to you, even though it doesn't like always feel good, because it's very bumpy. Let's be super trill about this. It's very bumpy. There's so many highs and lows, even within an hour. It's just like, yeah, I got a yes. Oh, this, I still need to do this, this isn't that. So in order to make something, you have to steal back all your energy, steal back all your time, steal back all of your focus, and use that in order to create it. So what that looks like is part of you is checked out at work in some ways. You're not playing the corporate game. You're not trying to get the promotion. You're not trying to figure out who to schmooze with or sharpening up your interview skills. You're not working on your resume. You're not doing the stuff that involves maintaining, or not even, you've got to maintain, but like getting ahead, over delivering in your role at your job. You're not necessarily taking on new projects, if you don't have to. Like, you just show up to do your job. When I was working at an insurance company, I'll just say I worked at State Farm. Like, I think that was that was the last job I had in America before I left in 2016. And I brought my laptop to work. So they had like these partitions So you couldn't see what was down there. So I chose my little corner joint, and I brought my laptop to work. I'm not saying that's what you should do. That's what I did. And if I was on the work laptop, I was looking for the blogs, like I was looking for the resources, like I was trying to figure out how to make this thing sustainable, traveling long term, and good on me because it worked. So that's what I did. I'm not saying do that, but definitely watch where your energy and your emotions and your time is invested. Watch out for the coworker that you hate. Watch out for trying to over please the boss. Like, just watch out for how you're expending yourself. Because if you're giving it all you got there, then how much gas you got left when you leave? And then when it comes to family, I mean, just healthy boundaries are needed. I talked to a couple of ladies this week, and particularly dealing with older generations where there's this idea of being owed, of this assuming that you're going to sacrifice just like the other Black women in the family have sacrificed over the years. You're going to give all of what you got in order to keep them together, to hold them together, to be down for them. And the narrative has changed. We've been changing the narrative. We are resting. We are taking vacations and sabbaticals and becoming nomads. We are saying that my health is more important than adding whatever I could to whatever it is you got going on, knowing that, like, are you really, really helping anyway? Sometimes we're not. Sometimes it's just a comfort to know that somebody was sacrificed to be there with you. It depends on the situation, obviously. And it's different if you have children that depend on you, and it's different if you're alone in doing it. And so, what kind of space can you create as a single parent? But if you have a partner, how why aren't they taking the kids? Why can't you have an hour or two to yourself? Some people like wake up early before the kids get up and stuff like that. But if you have a whole other human being in the house and they are not sharing in parental responsibilities, no, we don't do that no more. No. If you know, like, y'all, that's a conversation y'all need to have. And it's obviously all your business. But what I'm saying is that sometimes, and this too, sometimes what we'll do is we'll wrap ourselves up in others so that we don't make space for ourselves to do the thing that we say we want to do, because we don't even know if we'll be any good at it. We don't know that we'll succeed. We don't know that, what else is it? Um, we deserve to take up that kind of space in the world. It goes levels and levels deep, depending on where you are in your life, how you feel about yourself, so forth and so on, what kind of work you've been doing on yourself, so that you can say, no, like, I could do this, and I may not be the best, which that's what we always do, right? We always want to be the best, and it's just like, girl, no. Give yourself time and space. Let yourself explore. Let yourself be in that stage of growth to where you give yourself a shot to come out to get polished, right? And that could take years, and that's okay. That's perfectly fine, because you are still showing up. You are still making an attempt to pull something beautiful out of yourself, or pull some pieces out of yourself and make something beautiful with it, something that's beautiful according to your eyesight, giving other people a chance to look at it and see if they think it's beautiful too, right? And so when it comes to that family, if it's older people or if it's younger people, still creating a space. Sure, there are obligations, but what kind of space can you make? And if you don't believe that you can make any space, why do you believe that? You know me, child. I just think that there's a way. There has to be a way. There just has to be. And if you don't believe that there's a way, what in your thinking, what in your self-perception, what in your self-esteem, like, how have you made people dependent on you so that you don't have the freedom to exist in your own body and create from your own body. So that part. So we talked about work, we talked about family, and then ultimately like the relationship with yourself to where you give yourself the space to show up. So I think those are like three things. um, y'all have been talking to me. Okay, so Miss Kathy said my pivot from a corporate job to my own has not been organized well, and I'm inconsistent with my goals. But what does organized well mean? And this is the other thing. This is the other thing. If this is the first time you're creating something, how much grace are you giving yourself while you're working your job, right? So, like, don't forget that, because that's an absolute part. Like the feeding yourself while you are also trying to feed your soul. So it might be inconsistent for a little bit. It might feel unorganized, but I don't know that it ever gets totally under control, because as one person, we're usually starting off as one person. You're trying to do 18 different people's jobs. These are things that people get entire degrees in, and you are trying to do several of them when you are not. That's not, no, you've never, no, that's not your experience. That's not what you've been practicing in your entire life, right? Even you've been hired for a job, and you may have taken on a few different things in that job, but you were hired for the specific roles and responsibilities, the stuff that they give you when they hire you. And so now you're trying to do a bunch of different things at one time. So like it may not actually be that disorganized, but it may feel disorganized. Something that I absolutely advocate for. If you got the funds, have somebody come clean your house. I know, like, we typically want to clean before they get there because no, you're not finna see my stuff. But have somebody come clean your house. And the same in your business. If you can afford it, hire a virtual assistant, hire a online business manager, hire a social media manager, hire someone whose entire job it is to, and for a virtual assistant, you can, and an online business manager, you can um, decide what the responsibilities would be, but take some of that stuff off of your plate. I know you want to do it all. Um, Whitney Houston had us out here singing "We Was Every Woman." We was believing it. We were feeling it. But let's not be, like, let's stop doing that, right? So that would involve that, asking for help. I'm sure you're not trying to massage yourself all the time. If you want a massage, you go hire a masseuse. Like, you want a doctor to check up on your health and run lab tests and all that type of stuff. There are people that do that. The doctor don't run the lab test. The lab test people don't come in and see you as a patient. So it's just like, give yourself the opportunity to break some of this stuff down. If you don't hire out, figure out what it is that you're going to do and make it small so that it, again, with the goals, you're not reaching your goals because perhaps it's too big and you're taking on too much. So if you make it small, what's the smallest thing you can deliver? Is it showing up on your YouTube every week and making that content really specific, really great? And then maybe you create a blog post with the topics that you talked about in your YouTube. And maybe that's it. And maybe you take a step back, and of course there's a promoting of it. Right? So that's the social media aspect, promoting the stuff. Or maybe you just spend a lot of time learning about YouTube and the SEO and how to optimize your channel and optimize each individual video so that you don't have to do a whole lot of promotion. Like, it can look a lot of different ways, but just decide on the one or two things that you're going to be really good at. And then maybe you can add on from there if you wanted to. But you're going to overwhelm yourself trying to do so much at once while keeping a full-time job at that. And that's just a lot for anyone. And so, like, you're not giving yourself enough grace. I don't think you see everything that it is that you're trying to do. And so that's why you're so hard on yourself. And it's just like, you know what we don't do over here? We not fitting to be hard on ourselves for some stuff that's just it's unmanageable. It's unrealistic. And the more you see it as unrealistic, the more you'll see yourself and have compassion for yourself and the thing that you're trying to do, so that you could take some pressure off yourself. Because on the one hand, it's like, I want to deliver this. And then on the other hand, it's the guilt that you're not delivering this. which makes it harder to deliver this. It's like, we don't like those kinds of cakes in these parts. I recently heard someone say you have to show up for yourself. And that's understanding that selfishness isn't necessarily always negative. It is absolutely not. It's like it's the gas mask uh scenario. It is taking care of yourself and your needs. You show up for yourself, you enjoy your own actual life, which I think is a pretty new concept and maybe very Western versus just living your life to sacrifice for the good of others, right? You are, and then by like a byproduct, an offshoot, other people get to benefit from you being a whole entire person. Other people get to benefit from the way that you show up, which feeds you to keep showing up, right? It feeds you in another way. But yeah, it's also nice to have that interaction. People who create something and then it's like, wow, there are people who actually dig this. Like y'all come to these YouTubes and I'm just like, not them coming again. Like it's dope. It's dope that there are people, the whole like-mindedness. It's like if there's anything that you're into and you're not really sure if other people are into it or you don't have those people to talk to about it, whatever it is, like people are into all kinds of stuff. And it's just nice when you're able to rally around that idea, around that concept. So yeah. Miss Janelle said, I tried to do the same at my job, but being mentally drained on the computer and then trying to get in the mind frame to write is not doable. So, what does that look like then? You're at the job, you're on the computer, it's mentally draining, and then you want to write. So, I write on my phone sometimes. Or maybe, pen and paper hasn't been done away with either. So maybe, I don't know what type of writing it is, but maybe that's what that looks like. I like writing on my phone because I don't know if you're on your phone anyway and whatever, it's portable. I don't know. It's just a nice experience instead of like sitting at the laptop. It's just in your hand, the little computer in your hand. And then like journaling is nice. But if you're talking about like writing, even a book or whatever it is, like, I mean, it'll take some to get it from paper back into your digital life. I think there are some apps out there that can help with that. But what is the situation you're coming up against? What are the options for it? So you could write on your phone, you could use pen and paper, you could do dictation. Sometimes it's not always great, but maybe not like a Google dictation thing that's on your phone, but some other something. There are whole apps built, web apps, not like mobile apps, but web apps, services uh, that you can use that do the translation because there are people who need that in their everyday life, who are handicapped. So those people have made it available for people who might use it for a different reason, but maybe it's you speaking whatever it is you wanted to write and the computer typing it up for you, child. So what's the obstacle? What's the way through? Right. Sometimes that takes you having to take a step back instead of being frustrated about, I'm trying to make it work like this, right? To say, oh, it could work another way. Like, okay, I can do this. The Black family who expects you to take care of their bad choices. Oh. I don't know. Sometimes people be stuck in their own loops or whatever. I'm not saying people aren't free to make mistakes. I am saying that maybe you don't have to deal with the consequences or pick up the pieces of other people's mistakes and act accordingly. Maybe it's a case by case basis. Yeah. Miss Rosanna said, use that PTO to plan your goals. Even if you aren't going anywhere, use that time. That could even look like the weekends. That could look like, so I found that I really enjoy just getting out, after wanting to stay inside because people have lost their minds. it's been nice to just go somewhere and sit. And I'll take my little notebook with me and my pen, and I'm sitting there writing the next best American great novel. But I'll sit and write, and I will space out, and it's amazing. It's really lovely. But in that space, you get to feel, if you're conscious about it, you get to feel whatever it is you need to feel. You get to think or not think. You get to just breathe and like be in your body, which a lot of times we're not. A lot of times we're in our head. If I'm in this apartment, child, I'm thinking about y'all. I'm thinking about how I'm supposed to talk to y'all. I'm thinking about what I'm supposed to talk to y'all about. I'm thinking about if it's coming across. I'm trying to post over here, post over there. You know what it is because you probably doing the same thing or thinking about doing the same thing. But yes, so getting out is great. PTO is great, but anytime like you don't have to be somewhere, take time for yourself. And I don't know that we do that enough. And it doesn't have to be action packed. Like, you know how like with some itineraries when you're doing trips or whatever, group trips or whatever that is, I've never actually done one. They have like built in downtime. Are you building downtime into your own schedule? And what does that look like? I'm not talking about binging. I'm talking about like putting the phone down. I'm talking about being away from the laptop. I'm talking about just space for you to exist. Because if you don't give yourself that space to just space out, to breathe in your body, to be embodied, and also you get to dream a little bit then, don't you? Because you're relaxed. Think about what you create and how you best create when you're relaxed. That's why the best ideas come in the shower when there's nothing you could touch to record the brilliance of your mind. You have nothing you can touch. You can't touch no paper, that's gonna wrinkle up. The pen is gonna run. The phone, that's just you, that we don't play with electronics and water. So, but you're relaxed. You're in there, you in the zone, you getting your wash on, maybe washing your legs if you black. We learned about that last year. But yeah, any time and space you could take for yourself, that's going to help you. And we don't realize this. That's going to help you do what it is you got to do. Because the more you pushing it, the more you inside of it, it feels like the less progress you get done because you too busy and you're not really seeing the whole picture. So you got to take that step back. Resting is not just sleeping. Resting is giving yourself space and time, mental space and time, pushing everything up off of you to say, the only thing that's important right now is me in this moment. That's the only thing. Not nobody else, not what anybody else needs, not even the stuff that I want to do, like just me being here in this moment. I was talking to Miss Kathy, I think it was last week or a week before last. I'm in a pandemic time warp. But she was saying some people will never get to Albania. And then like I was like, "Oh, that's real." Like I'm taking for granted an experience that some people will never have. And I stopped taking that for granted right there in that moment because she said that to me. So like I could really appreciate that when I go out to my little cafes and have my little cappuccino or my little shot of liquor, I be drinking. Or when I stop by the bakery or when I go get my gelato because I like my ice cream. Ice cream and gelato, not the same thing, but whatever. I still don't really know the difference. I have to look it up, but that's real. It's not the same. So, but it's nice. It's nice to just sit there and like take that in, drink it up, and just exist and be free in that existence. Take up that kind of space. We're so used to having to be busy. It's counterintuitive. Not working towards your goals is sometimes working towards your goals, unless you're hiding, and you usually know the difference. Mm. Trying to do them all even when you're just learning. So like imagine being a baby. You a baby designer, like graphic designer, you're a baby web designer, you're a baby copywriter, you're a baby social media manager, you're a baby marketing person, you're a baby in life. Like yeah. So it just piles up. You have got to take a step back, my sister. We tend to give, come on, you better say that, CDJ. We tend to give grace to everyone else, but not ourselves. Not in this house. In this house, we give ourselves grace. You can do the most impactful tasks and request assistance with the others. Excuse me. Um, Asking for help. You can do the most impactful tasks and request assistance with others. Yes. Collaboration and that's the other thing is like so often we're trying to create alone. That's why I do the co-working sessions. So like we don't always work. Sometimes we work, not often, but you're doing all of this and a lot of times you're doing it alone, and so you are really in your head about what's what. And sometimes there's just another easier, faster, better way to do it. Sometimes there's a resource that you don't know anything about that could make your life easier, but you will never know it because you do not come to our events, my girl, my girlfriend. So co-working is what it is. Like it depends on who's there and it depends on what kind of mood they in, but we talk about the personal stuff, we talk about some specific resources as well. We sometimes kick around ideas. That's what happened this last Thursday. And so yeah, and please let me know if there's a uh, if you're not coming to the events because of the time, like let me know. So we got some moderators up in there now, so I could ask them to host some of the things that we do during a more convenient time. Because, I'm 6 hours in the future. It was 5 hours for a little while because of the time change. Well, my calendar was on fire. It still is. I don't know how to fix it. I write fiction, so to get into the mental state of the character story is difficult. Yeah, girl. I would still say the same thing. Like, where can you go to make that happen? How can you make that happen? Um, I think maybe talking to the text could help a lot because then you're like getting into the voice of the character, the way they speak, whatever. Maybe. Miss Kathy says, yes, it feels disorganized. Voice recorder on your phone to make noise. Notes. I tried. It wasn't for me. Okay, girl. Good ideas. Google Docs has a talk to text if you use Chrome. Yeah, there's some other like artificial intelligence, like AI, something. But if you've tried it and you don't like that, then you don't like it, which is fine. But maybe that's something you could Google. I Google stuff all the time that's very specific. So it's like have a hard time writing my book on laptop. What are other resources type of thing? See what you come up with because you're not the first writer that's encountered this by a long shot. So somebody else has figured out other stuff to remedy that. So, did we speak? We did speak about, let me scroll back. Lack of confidence when it comes to being able to pursue your goals. Why you're not pursuing your goals. Lack of confidence. So we did talk about that like a little bit, like feelings of like you're not worthy to do it, that you don't know what you're doing, that people will judge you. You're judging yourself a lot of times. How do you remedy that? One baby step at a time. You got to build yourself up quite a bit. I was thinking about this when it comes to specifically like music and you have an artist. So you're an artist, you make a song. So you've been in the studio recording this thing. Who knows how many times, right? It wasn't you just went in there, recorded in one shot. Some rappers do that. I don't know that singers do that because maybe singers are perfectionists, right? You're trying to hit the notes and you got to get the harmonies in there. So it's like layer upon layer. So you create the song. And then just imagine how many times that artist has to hear that song, right? So you hear it in the playback and maybe you create a video for it. So you got to hear it then. And then the video shoot, who knows how long that takes. I would suppose a day, maybe two. It depends on how many locations, but like you have to listen to that song. You're listening to your own voice the whole time. And then maybe if you pay somebody to get it on the radio, because we know that's how that works, like you're listening to it on the radio, you're performing it, right? So at award shows, at the concert, like whatever it is, you're performing that song, several songs at this point, right? Over. And if you are a career artist, over and over and over and over and over, and to the point where like they start performing it differently just to make them feel something again, because like they can't sing it the same way they did when they first recorded it, when it got hot. So I think about that when it comes to us showing up and saying the things that we need to say, presenting the things that we're presenting, offering the things that we're offering, and how much we have to interface with those things. And there's a point where it just like glazes over, right? And so you have to find new ways to talk about the thing that it is that you want to put out in the world. It takes a lot of confidence to do that. It takes, like, there's a little bit of ego there, isn't there? To like be like, this is good. You've heard it 3,787 times in the last day. And to be like, yeah, this is good. This is really good. I don't think there's any way through it but to do it. I'm sure that was on some show that I don't remember right now. But you build confidence by taking action. You build confidence by giving yourself grace, by seeing yourself, by being compassionate for yourself. You build confidence by impacting someone's life. Imagine somebody listens to that song and they're like, man, that got me through my 20s. That got me through my 30s. Like whatever it looks like, man, that got me through a breakup. That got me through a transition to Albania. Like whatever it is that you create, the benefit comes from when you know, get yourself together, put it out there in the world, and then somebody finds it and they're like, this is exactly what I've been looking for. I think that helps you to continue to show up. But I think one of the main things is just getting out of your head enough to let it live. I think it dies inside our head because we just trample over it every which way until it's very unsexy, until it's very blah. So it's really important to get out of our head. Getting out of our head looks like us being able to be in communion with people who are also building stuff. It looks like just practicing good mental hygiene and giving yourself a break. It looks like giving yourself praise, acknowledging when people are picking up what you're putting down. Maybe making a little folder, maybe taking a screenshot, making a habit of it, of collecting the times and the ways that people are showing appreciation for the thing that you do, so that you can browse back through that in whatever way you decide to collect them, so that you know that all of this is not, what is it called? All of it's not futile. All of it's not for nothing. Like it means something, that you're making an impact, because that is also very hard to gauge sometimes. And the ways that we're accustomed to counting it, through likes, through subscribes, through follows, however that looks, is not always the accurate picture. Sometimes people come through and they don't do any of those things, but that doesn't mean they're any less impacted. But if somebody actually works up the courage to say that to you, maybe in a DM or maybe in a comment, or maybe in one of your events or whatever, it's amazing for you to be able to let that sink in and grab that. Black women are also not very good at taking compliments because we're not used to receiving them, and we certainly don't give them to ourselves. So I think that helps with confidence. Because if you are constantly being hard on yourself and not seeing the impact that you're making, it's going to be very hard for you to be consistent and to show up. And when it comes to consistency, some practical things that you could do is look at, again, once you've honed it down, once you've said, I'm going to do these couple of things consistently. I'm going to come and do the YouTube or record the YouTube and I'm going to post it. I'm going to write a blog post. What does that look like throughout the week in order to get you there? Does that look like you making space on Monday or Tuesday to record, and then Wednesday or Thursday edit, and then you can schedule it or post it live on Friday, Saturday? For the blog post, do you have a day where you generate ideas or you're looking through the internet for ideas, where you have something really cool to say, something different to say, whatever that looks like, and then you set aside an hour to write on Monday and Wednesday or something like that. So you just get practical and break it down. That's also part of that's also part of why sometimes we don't feel like we're making progress, is because the things that we want to do are sometimes just too big and never ending. It's like if you want to show up on YouTube and you want to be regular, and you haven't built in breaks, like it's just never, it's going to be never ending. And so how are you making it feasible for yourself to commit to, and doing that in spurts of time? This is coming from someone who produced a podcast every single week for over 2 years. And I just recently took a break to revamp things. So while it was good while it was good, it was good while it was good until it wasn't as good. So yeah, figure out what that looks like and take advantage of batch. I think that's super important. If you set aside a day to record a video, maybe you could record a couple of videos, change your outfit, part your hair the other way. And batch record so that you're not having to create. You make space for yourself to create and edit and schedule. That's the dream, right? That's why sometimes people start off with the vault. That's what I did when I started the podcast. I had like 4 episodes already recorded before I published the first one. So that's something you could definitely look into. Batch. I think that helps with consistency. Be realistic. And like, what are all the baby steps? I think that also helps. I did this one time. So for example, for one podcast episode, what does that involve? It involves me finding someone whose story I'm interested in sharing. So that takes time. Also, I'm interested in representation. So I'm looking at like, what country are you from? What kind of travel are you into? Blah, blah, blah. So finding a person, scheduling a time, inviting them to schedule a time. They choose a time through Calendly. And then from there, I do research on them. And then from there, we have the actual conversation if they show up. And then from there, you have to edit the conversation. You have to create the show notes. You have to create the show art. You have to create the blog post for the show notes and the show art. You have to upload it to my host and then upload it to the blog post itself. I think I said the blog post already. And then you hit publish and then you promote it. And then you got to send them their stuff too. Send, hey, your episode is coming up or it's already out. If I'm feeling wicked and not prepared. So I'm letting them know the day of that it's out, and sending them an email with their blog post and also the show art. And then also, because I started recording video, was it this year? Yeah, it was this year, earlier this year, I started recording video. And so I would do a video snippet. So while I'm editing, and what editing looks like for me is it's usually for pace, it's not usually for content. So sometimes there's like a little lag between the me asking them the question and them answering the question. Or sometimes we keep keying and like it's overlapping. And so I'm trying to make sure that they could be heard, and maybe it's usually my laughter. So I'm usually taking my laughter out. But so I'm editing for that. While I'm editing that, I'm listening for the show snippet at the very beginning. I always start the show with something poignant that they've said. So there's something poignant they said at the beginning of the show, but also for the video promo, there's something poignant that they said that I want you to see their face saying. So everything under the sun, right? Everything under the sun happens. And if I weren't realistic about every single step that it takes to put out a podcast episode, then it might be overwhelming and I might be, well, I feel so behind and like, why is this not doing this? But at some point, you just get into a rhythm with it. You know what it is. There are some things that you can do ahead of time, some templates. Like for the show art, for example, I haven't changed the show art. It's been the same since the very beginning. And lying to everybody, I did change the show art. Was it twice or just once? Because I had a whole different logo. Girl. Yep, I'm lying to y'all. Yeah, I changed the show art at one point. It was just like white, super minimal. But anyway, but having a template that I used helped. And you just pop the picture in, download it, upload it, move on about your life and your business. But so yeah, there's some things that you can't outsource. I can't outsource the research or the conversations that we have. That comes specifically from me. So it's stuff like that. But once you are real with yourself about what it takes to do what it is that you want to do, then that will help you to be consistent because you're being realistic about the time. Whenever I write down what it is I want to do, I also write by it about how much time I think it'll take to do it. Because then that puts me on a hook to be on a clock. Otherwise, I just be out here, tabs all open. Tabs all open, just doing whatever, however, whenever. It just helps to keep things a little more organized and honoring my time and the time that I invest in each little piece of whatever it is that I'm doing. So that's just a couple of tips on being more consistent. And then also like I think sometimes why we get inconsistent is like not hearing from people or not getting feedback or not knowing if your message is getting across or uh, not believing in the thing that you're doing. Maybe you are getting some feedback, but like maybe you're just having a tough time with the way that it's coming out. And is this really how I want to do this? Or like, is this right? So answering those questions helps a lot. Sometimes what we'll do is we'll just let these things, it's like a bullet. It just ricochets through your brain and it just lets everything bleed out. Our thoughts are that powerful. So you got to wrestle it down and not let it cause harm or damage inside yourself. So, am I doing this right? Well, what is the right way to do it? Well, there are many ways that you could do it. Well, that's true. So, is there a better way for me to do this? Well, that's a different question. Well, which part of this do you think could be like have a conversation with yourself about what's real so that you can have more peace and you can show up. Create some peace in your home, your head home, so that you can show up and do the thing that you really want to do consistently. And then we talked about family and work. Did y'all have any other questions about family and work? Let's see, we have a couple more comments. I may just meet up. Come on through. Come on over. You keep going until you get it. Yes, you do. Because there's you just will not know. You just even with the stuff you think you know. So it's like that's why I like the idea of a mastermind more than a course. I don't know. A course I guess would do the same kind of thing. But anyway, using an outline of actions that one person should take in order to have the end result that whoever is promising is tricky, because you're all very different people and you come with a whole set of your own things. And so for me to say I can take you from A to B using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps is, again, it's tricky. I think it's more realistic to say, what is it that you think you want to do? Is this really what you want to do? Let's break down how you can actually do it if this is what you think you really want to do. And then giving you the space to do an about face if you change your mind anywhere in that process, because sometimes you don't know until you know. And so, like, that's the whole point. Like, you have to put one foot in front of the other in order to understand what's really good and what's not good. And also to understand, like, the community aspect is really important, because you understand that, like, I don't know that it ever feels particularly, I don't know. Like, some parts of it are great. The parts that you understand are great. I guess it's the stuff that you're learning. Maybe back to what Stacey was saying, you're learning so many new things at once. So, like, maybe that's what it is. But like, saying that out loud, I don't know that we say that out loud enough. Hey, Tanisha, we was talking about you, Gora. I'm surprised Teresa ain't up in here. She's in Nice now to tell her business. Black women are not good at taking compliments. Hey, girl, unless it's you wasted in the bathroom. Girl, I love your shoes. No, girl, I love your bonnet. I can't wait to wear a bonnet so people can talk about me. I don't actually own a bonnet. No, we're not good, because how often as a Black woman have you been told, wow, you are doing a really amazing job? And like, been like, yeah, I know. It's like, never. You just be like, oh, this little thing, I'm just over here doing the best I can with the least I've ever gotten. And because it always feels like, even though we know we pull magic out of thin air, out of literally thin air often, um, we're not used to being seen, and we're not used to seeing ourselves in that kind of way. We just think it's normal because we've always done it. When I had my podcast, we would record 4 to 5 episodes at a time. It was helpful, so we only had to record 1 or 2 times a month. We didn't change clothes though. Yeah. I love it here. We love you here. Got 10 tabs open right now. That's what I'm talking about. Now I'm talking about. I didn't notice a time schedule for Jubilee. I didn't make a time schedule for Jubilee. I am figuring that out. We won't be starting real early. We'll probably start around 11 a.m. Eastern. But like I said, I'm still getting the speaker stuff together, Janelle. So I will let you know expeditiously. Keep my name out your mouth. Nope. You can try and make us. Yeah. Rosanna did ask me, she was like, have you figured out such and such for the conference? And I was like, no. And I noticed that I didn't feel no type of way about it. No, I don't have that part figured out yet. And I'm okay with that. Because I know it's going to be amazing. Because I know who I am. Because I trust myself. And I believe that I've built your trust as well. I deliver. I over deliver. Okay? You order 1 pizza, I'm bringing you 5. It is so ridiculous, the things I do for people who give me $5. Like, there was this one marketing thing that I did for the Patreon members, and it was like $5 for other ladies to come through. My events are $5. I don't know why they should be 55. We're working on this, right? But like, it was hours. It was hours. I lack boundaries when it comes to y'all, and I have got to change that. I spend way too much time. Not that you're not worth it, but I need to respect myself. And I have not been. But it's been fun, right? We've been having a good time. Well, I've not been respecting myself. But yeah, it's amazing the things I'll do for $5. I'm sure you feel the same. What other kind of questions y'all got? Is this the conversation you thought we would be having today? Why you're not meeting your goals? Your relationship with yourself? your obligations at work and in family. And what else is there? Also, by the way, while you're pondering that, we're gonna do the Insecure watch party tonight. I think we in season 2 still. So we're gonna finish that season up tonight. We could watch other stuff after this is over. Um, I put a poll in the group, the Black Women Digital Nomad Entrepreneurs group, to see what y'all wanted to watch. So it was between this and the Black Lady sketch show. Oh snap! We got Yumi Miss Flex in fly up in this mother sucker. Yumi is amazing and wonderful and brilliant, and she's doing all the big things. She is someone you should know for sure, for sure. She has been working in the travel and wellness space. She actually has it, what's it called? Trademarked, travel wellness. She has trademarked. So she's been up and through this game. She got roots in Haiti. She over in New York, breaking it down. Please get to know her. Please get on her level. All right, y'all. Oh, thank you, Yumi. I appreciate you, girl. See me taking a compliment? All right, y'all. I'm about to get up out of here then. If y'all don't have no more questions. So Insecure Watch Party is happening at 5:30 Eastern, I think. 5:30 Eastern. I put the link in the group. It's already in the group. You should be golden. And we'll watch the rest of season 2. Also, International Black Women Travel Jubilee coming up December 4th and 5th, Saturday and Sunday. Yumi is speaking. Tynesha is speaking. You haven't met Cassandra yet. She is speaking. And then there'll probably be another speaker that I have to figure out. Also, the tickets are either just for the live workshops, or you could do the live workshops and the Black Women Travel Mastermind, where we will be doing some accountability and some co-working. So you get to talk about what you're going to do, and then we give you some time to do it, right? All guided, all in sisterhood, all good in the hood. So definitely go to it's Black Women Travel, no E. So that's TRAVL, Black Women Travel .com/IBWTJ. Cop the ticket. If you was on the email list, first of all, if you was on the Patreon, you got the best discount. And if you're on the email list, I put a discount code in there for you. I've also invited you several times to become a partner. What that looks like is you will have your logo on the website as a partner for the conference. And I want to drive traffic your way. And in exchange, you would just post about the conference, which you was probably going to do anyway. Let's be real. I've also set up up affiliate. So if you wanted to earn commission on anybody that buys a ticket, I would love for you to get paid for that. So you could do that as well. And I also put a bunch of resources in the last email that I sent. I think it was yesterday, pandemic time warp. So I put copy. So like if you don't know what to say about the conference, I put that in there. And then I put the graphics. So the graphics and the videos. So if you wanted to get down, oh, thank you, honey. We appreciate you. If you wanted to get down with that, definitely do. Travel and leisure. If you don't know what the brand one-on-one meetings are about, brands are looking to collaborate with creators, and travel and leisure is that brand. I'm working on getting some others as well. Right now, the check is cleared. So travel and leisure wants to meet you. Tickets haven't sold for that. They'll probably be the same as the live workshop, so like $19.95 or whatever for you. But what that looks like is you get to meet with the decision maker and you all talk about what that looks like. So they say, we're looking for someone to write, or we're looking for someone to lead conversations on Instagram, or we're looking for whatever, and you say, well, this is what I do, and I focus on LGBTQ travel, I focus on solo female travel, and I create this type of content. I have a podcast, I have a YouTube channel. Let's see what ways we can collaborate. And that's exactly how that looks. And you get paid for it because they're paying you for the collaborations that you're creating with them. And I don't want to hear all that. I'm not ready. I don't have no numbers. Often micro influencers are the most impactful. That's all I got to say about that. So when you get all that blah blah out your system, then come holla at me. So I will put tickets up for sale for that very soon. And I'm not gonna leave you out in the wind. I've talked to Deanna from Travel Noir. She's the editor in chief, I believe now, of Travel Noir. Deanna. Her Instagram is Broke and Abroad Life, taking pictures all day, every day. She just got back from Greece. Not that I co-sign traveling right now, but she's going to do a workshop for you all to understand what's involved in a brand collaboration discussion, how you can create great content for a brand, how you can create a relationship, and all that good stuff to prepare you so that you're just not out here off of Wanda's word, because words. So I'm trying to set y'all up. So that's everything that's going on. International Black Women Travel Jubilee, Saturday and Sunday, December 4th and 5th. 2 ticket types, live workshops or live workshops and the Black Women Travel Mastermind. That's for 3 months. Brand collaborations is separate, right? So, and then I've also offered you the partner, the affiliate, and I've provided all the stuff you need to help promote. Because what is one community without more people in it and more dope people? Because dope people know dope people. That's what I found. Ouch. What was the ouch for? um, so yes, I'm excited to everything with y'all. And let me know how you want to get down. And thank you so much, Miss Kathy. She said it's been helpful. Um, I'll see you very soon. I'll see you at the watch party. Okay, bye, girl.